rest of the board tomorrow. Unfortunately, there's no kind of vote for that.
Well,
But, no, I sent them ahead of time to schedule them, so they were aware, they already saw that, they saw the plan, they saw the pitch, but I said it has to go in front of the board, but I wanted to make them aware, and I said, if you have any opposition, let me know ahead of time. And then I heard nothing, just said, happy to meet.
Do you believe that this is a fair increase for the tax collectors for what they do?
Yeah, I think comparatively, I think any increase, since they haven't seen one, is, I mean, good news for them. Yeah. I mean, they've been doing the job for 8 years for no pay increase, so I think any increase for them. Good news for them.
Didn't they cut the budget other places this year?
Well, that'll be part of the budget process. This is ahead of that process. This is one of those ones that goes outside of that realm of timing. It doesn't go in effect until January 2026. We'll have a review on the full board. It's just an ask to put it in the front of the board. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Like, it always comes here first to say, if no table it, go back.
They put the green on. Yeah.
Alright, so we'll jump ahead. So by auditors, the original contract ran out this year, with this most recent audit that concluded. I'm looking to renew them as auditors for the next 3 years, and that is their initial contract, which would be, if this goes, if that committee would go in front of the board as well. So that's just what they gave me. When they came in, I asked, can you give me what a renewal for 3 years would look like? This is their plan. Yeah, we have that. We have that. To have a year of law.
Good questions. Good.
So banking, we're having some struggles with Adams County National Bank. Currently, we only have our student activity accounts, which are student-raised funds that are managed by the students, and the board just kind of oversees those as a whole. We allow them to create their funds, allow them to manage their funds. We as a district just kind of help them. Like when they cut checks, we cut them for them. We manage that money. But they are in charge of all the revenue and generating revenue and buying things with that revenue. The unfortunate thing with Adams County National Bank is more and more companies with check fraud and stuff are asking for ACH payments. Now they're asking, ACB is requesting a $50 setup fee for each vendor and a $2.50 per ACH, which, based off of current student activities, is $237.50 a year, which, of course, student activities doesn't seem like a lot for them. They don't generate a lot sometimes, depends on the club. So this could negate a lot of.
Per club.
Well, this is per transaction.
$50 per transaction.
No, it's a one-time setup fee for vendor, then $2.50 per transaction.
So everybody that's paid out of the student activity checks, there's a $50, yeah.
If they're selected for an ACH. Like I said, more and more are going to ACH. We internally like ACH. Safeguards us from fraud. Have fraudulent checks, we try to take them from the mail and everything else. So we prefer ACH, vendors prefer ACH. So this is kind of a migration. The unfortunate thing is they're now charging us a fee for that.
Have you told ACB that you're going to leave if they?
We have not. I think it's just a standard-wide fee structure. Correct. So that's where the ask is to just, that's the only account we currently have with Adams County National Bank is to, like I have the quotes closed. We currently have a CD with some student activity funds that wouldn't lapse until 2027. Obviously, we don't want to go out of it early because that creates more fees for them. So we keep that account open, but only open for the CD. Every other transaction would go through his left account.
And they
Which
don't
we-
make fees?
No, we currently do everything through them. It's just, it takes board action to close the account to start a new account. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna jump into transportation. So we're just gonna preface, we're gonna have two options that are just for discussion tonight. Very similar to the athletics, it's just for discussion. We're gonna talk about which direction the board wants to, if there's one off the table, just let us know. If not, both can be maybe moving forward. So the first option is maintain transportation services in-house. So our current rate for 25-26, this upcoming year, is $8.34 for bus drivers. It's been a conversation topic of the board, we're struggling keeping in-house bus drivers. So to combat that, we would look to be competitive with contractor rates. So when we research what contractors are currently paying some of their staff, it range from $125 a day to $145 a day. So obviously you want to stay competitive. So we were looking at, I ran scenarios for $140 a day to $150 a day. What that would do is that would, if we were fully staffed, so the numbers are based off fully staffed numbers, would range from $180,000 to $250,000, which obviously that's a big budget increase. That would need a tax increase to kind of complement. So I also want to say that this just focuses on our internal routes for bus drivers. We would still have contracted services. It would not be 100% in-house. We would still have our special needs, our athletics, and our non-public outsourced. So we'll just be focused on keeping our internal routes internal.
Why should we look forward to
To stay competitive with the contractor rate of 125 and 145. Because obviously that's based off of what we think, what they have today. We anticipate they're gonna have an increase, so we want to stay in that range. To stay competitive. Correct.
Is there a second option? We have option one.
Correct. So I just wanted to see if there's any questions on option one. So then option two would be the opposite aspect would be to outsource our transportation. So this would the process would be creating an RFP for transportation services. We look at anywhere from ranging from 4 to 7 years of a contract. Right now, based off estimations, we're talking with other districts of similar size that have something that would estimate maybe 1.3, 1.5 million as annual cost. Currently budgeted between contracted services and internal, we have close to 1.4 million. So we're right in that ballpark range. Obviously, that's blinders on today's factors based off of not going RFP, not knowing what we're creating. So that's just, right now, on paper it says we are in the ballpark to be able to, if we want to outsource, we might see a slight budgeting.
Okay, so if we outsource them, how many employees would we lose then? Will not lose like the transportation person, gang, something?
So that would be part of the RFP process, and the board can decide what employees. The only one we, by law, have to have a director to manage the transportation to upload to the state. That is the absolute requirement. The other employees, that is for the board to be able to decide any and all employees who's employed by the district.
So, Tom, how many districts are in-house right now?
We are-
Did you compare with your comparative numbers?
We are one of 3. So
And how many districts are out there that are outsourced?
So obviously the rest of them, so I think it's, how
We've
many?
got approximately 26 districts in our year.
Yeah, so we are one of 3 in the Iowa. So it's us, Southwest, and Chambersburg.
Okay, so every one of these districts has had this conversation, they came to the threshold, they went from one to another because of the overall expense, and or option one, raising taxes. And there's no guarantee if you raise those taxes, because you're bidding against a private company that can take a hit and do less profit and put more in to outbid those parameters. And then you still might not, if you get these taxes raised and everything, and still not get what you want.
The thing that we're doing, that the contract
top of the salary, and boosters.
Which actually kicks us 30% underneath what the competitive is.
And, I mean, I'm sure that a condition would be that we would want the contractor to absorb our drivers.
Yeah, so that's part of the RFP process, so just some of the other bullet points here is that when we would go, if we would go this route, we would look to at least keep a couple buses and a couple vans for internal use. Obviously, we can use them at any point in time for whatever scope of things we want. So obviously, there's still trips we can have. We still have people who have CDL license that can drive buses, or we have people who are obviously in the coach or somebody can use a van.
So the newer stuff we bought.
Correct. We would look for RFPs, we can look at selling the remaining fleet. I have that on here, obviously you can keep it, but it doesn't really make financial sense to do that, but we can look at that RFP. Forget who asked about it. Yeah, so that's part of the RFP, that's something we've already discussed is, Dr. Sawyer calls it right of first refusal, so we would put in the contract that the contractor has to interview our current employees, and it's up to the employees to either accept the offer or not. So they have the first right, and the first opportunity to get those open positions that are created with outsourcing. Because we obviously, us and the contractors want people who know the routes and know the kids. It just makes sense for them to hire.
Keep it full.
Yeah, we definitely have a leg up over anybody else.
So it's gonna be, I don't have total costs, that's just 180 to 200.
It's gonna add to whatever your total cost is now.
Correct, and that's based off fully staffed numbers, so that's if we hired everybody at this rate. The caveat with this is, just say we get 3 positions, we're still outsourcing the remaining positions.
How many positions do we outsource?
I think currently, we have 6, we're in the back.
So we have 6 total in-house, and then we get,
We
We have
out.
6 outsourced
Oh,
right now
okay.
to our 5. We
To
are
our 5.
upside down right now.
okay.
You're halfway there.
And the fortunate thing is the outlook of hiring drivers is only here at the district at our current, like our current rate.
Right.
So,
If we go to them totally, well, I know it's somewhere in the $300 range that we're paying the contractor today. Will that come down?
so that's gonna be part of the RFP process. I cannot predict what they're gonna charge us. So, I was gonna say, some of the benefits here, what I said is look at the consolidate. So currently, we have a contract for special needs, we have a current contract for non-hubs, current contract for athletics, and current contract for sub-drivers. We would look to consolidate all those into one, get a economy of scale that says this vendor gets all of our routes, all of our services, give us your best number. That's, I think, we're gonna get the best.
And can we ask for like 3 to 5?
So
Proposal?
we can go any range. Typically, transportations are anywhere from 4 to 7. And it just kind of depends on what the district's comfortable longevity-wise for that contract.
But it
And
will.
the
it will-
contractor.
Okay, so it'll protect us and them from a mutual, workable, feasible arrangement.
Yeah, if a contractor can't meet that, they just wouldn't put a contract in. If they can, obviously they will. Correct.
My problem with outsourcing like that is, it sounds good in the first few years, then they raise rates real high because they know they got you.
Well, that's, look at
Now
it.
with their in-source, with their in-house.
So
We
when
can't
you
get
go back
it.
to the other page, the first option, are you saying the contractor rate, that's what the driver's getting, 125 to 145? No, that's the driver's portion of what we're paying.
We're paying
For
them
the driver, yes, that's their rate.
It's currently what they are estimated to be getting offered.
So we outsource all driving except for our up for school.
And the athletics that internal people pick up. I think we still do a couple, ball sheets.
Some special
Yeah, I was
needs.
gonna say, we still do
Some
some
special
band
We do some
special
special
needs.
needs in-house. We do still some, just some athletics, like I said, the drivers that we have, which we lost 3 of our really big trip takers last year. So we do have fewer drivers that can take trips because the problem is a lot of the trips are, the students need to leave at 2 or 1:30 or 1:45, and I need my drivers to run home to school home, you know, in the afternoons. So that kind of leaves them out of taking those trips unless they're from 4 o'clock on. So then that's where the need for the contractor
And
comes
so did
in.
we lose those to the private bus companies?
We just lost 2. We lost 2 bus drivers to a contractor in November and December because of pay. The contractors can just give them more than we can. And they're sweetening the deal with allowing them to bring their buses home. Like we have a driver that lives right up the street, she brings her bus home. She doesn't even need to use her car or her gas to get to work. You know, so it's stuff like that. We had a bus driver who was given a van to come home and go in. So it's a no-brainer, yeah.
So Laura, I'll ask you if you can tell us, how do you feel about this? And how does, maybe ask you to speak on behalf of your staff.
Well, some of my
How do you
staff
feel
is
about
here. I was torn before the break. I've had to do a lot of soul searching because I do, we've always been in-house, and I've always wanted to keep it in-house as best as I could. You know, right after COVID was a real big, we lost a lot of people to that because they didn't want to work with the unknown. I was able to fill all of those spots but one. We were still carrying one since COVID. That amounts for same. So now I've got 5 on top of that. One that we lost a driver, he retired. Actually 2 retired and 1 died past year last year. So those were not things that we were planning on, you know, losing, and then we lost 2 again. The 2 that we just lost to money. So it took me from Thanksgiving to December to really start looking at the full picture. For my drivers, it would be beneficial if they went contract. They would get paid more. They could claim unemployment in the summertime, which we can't do when we're at a school district. There are other things like Christmas bonuses that other contractors give to their drivers that I can't give them. You know, there's all that. I think it would be beneficial for my drivers. And knowing for them that they have the option to keep their same rent, you know, the certainty that they would have that option to keep it if they do so choose is also a plus.
So you could write that into the weekly, like you said, right?
And if you're an adult, will you all, the 4 of you, will you stay with us if we outsource?
I think one of the benefits of keeping in-house, I think he does, and it's not so much a dollar amount, it would be a lot more stability where you got, and history shows where if you, like say, work for the district, you're much more inclined to stay with the district, you know. And being on the outside, I think there's a lot more opportunity to, you know, naturally, I mean, if you're working for an outside contractor, you have no control over who's going to drive your bus. And, you know, of course they'll have the clearances, you know, and all that. But if one decides just to move, you got another bus driver. If they need another bus driver at a different location, they can move them. Where you got that little bit of instability as far as the contract, you know, the personnel part. Like I say, it's not so much financial because the dollars are all the thing, but it would be if you wanted to lean towards keeping stability on the routes with the drivers where the kids see the same driver every day, and they're picked up every day, they're dropped off every day by the same driver. Well, I don't know if you would keep that same stability with the contract. But financially, I don't think it would be a difference, as far as the dollars.
Can I just mention something? I'm concerned also about the increase in our taxes. Tom, will our taxes are gonna go up no matter what? You might have answered that, but I still don't have it clear. 1% to 1.25 if we stay with
So that,
Littlestown?
with this proposed rate, obviously the rate